So this is always been an interesting time of the year for me. As a coach, this is probably around the least favorite time of the year for me, since I was a varsity assistant, since I became an AAU coach, and even as a player, this is always a very anxiety-filled time of the year, and that's tryout season. As a coach, I hate it because who likes to tell a kid that that basically you're not good enough, or that there's no room for you on their roster. It's never a good feeling, and I've been cut before in my life, so like I know the feeling. Very well. As a trainer, it's a good time of the year because your requests go up. People are looking to get in that work to prepare themselves for that examination, because that's exactly kind of what it is, right? It's a test. But I want to talk to you about a little bit about that tryout mentality. Now, first off, like the tryout mentality, that's not something that you're going to adopt like before or when you get to tryouts, right? That's going to be something that you have now, that you start to develop now. Okay, you need to view every day as that tryout, leading up to that tryout, and the person that is gauging you in those moments is yourself, right? So the tryout mentality. So first of all, it's supreme confidence. All right, supreme confidence. You have to understand that as a coach, I'm going to be able to read how confident you are in what you're doing out there. Now, no one is perfect, right? And we all have strengths and we have weaknesses. But the aggression that you choose to play with, that's going to show me that you're confident. That in being aggressive, that good things are going to happen for you. So how do you get to be confident for the tryout? Well, it starts now. It starts from you holding yourself accountable in terms of making sure that every day that you're going out there and you're attacking those weaknesses. If you're in high school, you got about a month probably to your tryouts. What are you doing with every day? How much time are you spending every day in working on your skill set? Not just your weaknesses, but also building on your strengths, right? How much film are you watching? Like educational film, not just highlight reels. How much film are you watching? How much studying are you doing? How is your conditioning? All right, how often are you going out there and running? Right? These are the things that are going to help you build confidence prior to you getting there. The tryout mentality is also fearlessness. Okay, fearlessness. I talk to my players a lot about fearlessness, even down to the details. How fear interferes with how aggressive and how confident we are, even in the simplest moments out there on the court. But fearlessness, okay? You have to walk into a tryout believing that at the end of the day, that you're gonna leave it all out there on the floor, and whatever happens is whatever happens, right? You're not going to be afraid of the outcome. You're not going to be afraid of the result. You're going to tell yourself simply that I'm going to leave it all out there. Now, in order for you to be confident, in order for you to be fearless, you're going to have to be prepared, okay? I tell the players that I work with that when you go out there and you work every day, which you should be doing every single day if you want to make that team, you have to make sure that you leave that session feeling like there's no way that the other people who are going for that same spot as you outworked you, right? You have to work yourself to absolute exhaustion. You have to attack your strengths and weaknesses with exhaustion. You got to be honest with yourself, right? You got to be honest with yourself. You got to know what are the things within your game that need the most attention and prioritize it. Work on those things vigorously. And leave with that pride, feeling like that there's no way that you were outworked on that particular day, so that when you step into the tryout, that tryout mentality is in place, and when you're competing against guys or girls, you're going against them and you're going through your drills and things like that, and you have a sense of pride because you feel like there's no way that you put in as much work that I did. Listen, they might have, but because you gave your absolute all every day, you can be in that moment. You can have that mentality in that moment of feeling like, this is my spot, because I've earned it before these 2 or 3 days that this tryout is taking place. That is the tryout mentality. Listen, a kid that I coached on a varsity level for a few years, sent me a message about 2 days ago. His kid's in college now. He was gonna try and walk on. Last year he tried to walk on, didn't make it. This year he sent me a text and he said that, coach, I don't think I'm going to try out this year. I because of work and because of school, I didn't really get an opportunity to put in the kind of work that I felt like I needed to. And he was being honest with himself, and he felt like, it didn't make any sense for him to try and go out. And I understood, and I respected that. And he expressed his sadness over it. And I think in that moment, even though he was making that decision was clearly made prior to that day, right? Every day that he chose to not go out there and do something, to not make the time to be able to get his work in, every day he was making that decision. And that's okay, because he's gonna go on to do great things, and his passion for the sport and his love for the sport may lead him to be involved in the game in a different way. But again, that decision was made prior to that, and I bring that up because when you choose to let a day go by without you putting in the work or preparing yourself for the tryout that awaits you, you're making that decision to pretty much put that dream on the back burner, to kind of put that dream on the shelf. You're making that decision there. So the tryout mentality, right, it starts now. It starts with you approaching every day as if it's the day that you can be cut or added to that list. I wish you all the best of luck out there. If there's nothing, as a trainer, there's nothing like getting a text message or a phone call from one of my kids telling me that they've made the team. But I've also been on the other end of a text, or been the other end of the spectrum, where a kid states the fact that he wasn't able to make it, and we talk about what took place, and if the kid is willing and the kid still wants it, we go back to work. And I've seen kids progress and get cut, 1 year just like I did, and return and make it the next year. So have that mentality. Have that mentality that at the end of the day, especially if you're not an upperclassman, it's not your senior year, leave it all out there. Leave it all out there, and if you don't make the team, don't be afraid to ask the coach, what you could have done differently, and what he feels you can possibly work on to give yourself an opportunity to make it next year, and then start the process immediately. Again, best of luck to you all, and remember, respect that process.